The video that you're looking at now is the drone from the far east side of Greenfield, all the way as far as you can get, almost till you get to the foothills there of the El Gavilan Mountains. And we are facing towards the Salinas River. Below us is, in fact, considered the Salinas River. You can tell by the very sandy soil that is down there. Up ahead is the end of the river that was shown on the end of the previous flight. This is Flight 4 of my DJI Mini 2. I have to apologize. I did a flight earlier this morning that was very moist. There was a lot of fog and it got the drone wet. So this morning when I went out to this next flight, the one that I'm showing now, the lens fogged up. So this foggy appearance is the result of flying the drone in the fog. Flying to the north, this is again the river bottom. You can see there's been quite a bit of some sort of activity down here. That's not exactly what I'm looking for in this footage. I do recognize there's quite a bit of recreational vehicle use that happens on the Salinas River. And as we fly, we can see that this is all sand here with the extreme high sand soil content on both sides. Now I think would be a good time to talk a little bit about the Salinas River. So I'll continue flying up the river. The Salinas River, you might wonder how in the world can all this farmland in the Salinas Valley, these millions of acres of farmland, be irrigated by a dry river? Well, that's one of the most interesting things about the Salinas River is it's an upside down river. Below this is a river just about as wide as the Mississippi River. The Salinas River is the largest underground river in North America. So all of these fields, like the ones ahead of us, and the ones that we will see along this trip, are all irrigated by aquifers that drain into that underground part of the Salinas River. We only see water flowing in the Salinas River when it's rained a lot and the soil is holding the water up, or when the Salinas River is fully saturated, which next to never happens anymore. As you can see out there, there's been some serious land use. Doesn't look like it's growing anything. But this land here has definitely not always appeared this way. So the reason it's like this primarily is because all of the aquifers are being pumped dry. So very little water is now making it into the Salinas River. Any trees that you see on the river bottom, they are pretty old. So they have roots that are able to extend deep, deep underground. The rest of these plants that are gray here, as I was saying yesterday, it's now July 16th, so it is the middle of the summer, and these will green up some, but this will not recover on its own. That is for certain. As you can see over to the right side of this video, the farmers have become quite proficient at using extremely sandy soil. Now that's because this is hydroponic medium, once again, as I was saying in a previous flight. So they're just spraying nutrient on these crops. So we continue to fly north. You can see out towards the flat of the valley, up in the top left. That's what I call the flat. Large acreage produce crops are grown here primarily on the flat of the Salinas Valley. So as you can see, the Salinas River in the flat of the Salinas Valley is not flat. The reason why the river is curvy here is because the valley in these areas slopes east to west. So it causes the river to flow east to west. But if you look out over the valley now, you'll see it is flat. That is from decades of farmers using large-scale farm equipment to flatten the ground. They've been using various tools that allow them to produce an entirely flat field. So even though in these areas where it curves, you can clearly see that the Salinas Valley is a rolling hill type of valley, every one of these fields has been completely flattened down over the decades. I've watched it happen.